What?
Yeah.
Bro,
So,
Elliot, you got your own company, bro. I should be jealous of you. As soon as I got the interview for a GNC role, I was like, dude, this is like, regardless of the company, it was like the dream title alongside robotics engineer. I was like, dude.
I'll be honest with you guys, I've been struggling with a lot of self-doubt lately. I wondered if my courses were actually helping anyone in this era of AI. Then I got this message, made me literally break down in tears. This is Derrick. He's an early member of Coffee Chat service with me where we spent an hour deep diving into his career path, and he also subscribed to Robotics 101. Even with 0 internships and no industry referrals, Derrick just landed the dream role as a GNC engineer. So I had to invite him to talk about exactly how he did. We discussed how he leveraged that one-on-one guidance and the course materials to handle high-level technical interview. So whether you are a student or a senior dev looking into pivot or an entrepreneur, Derrick's strategy is a blueprint for anyone trying to find a foot in the door in autonomy industry. If you ever felt like the world of robotics as a closed club or you are struggling to translate your skills into this field, you definitely want to hear him out. By the way, if you're new to here, my name is Elliot. I'm a robotics engineer turned solopreneur, and I help and train people trying to get into the field of robotics, whether you're students or junior dev, senior dev. If you think robotics is the future, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. And then, first of all, everything, I have to tell you, congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Massive achievement on your side. I'm so proud of you. Actually, I'm even jealous about that.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, Elliot, you got your own company, bro. I should be jealous of you. I think being in a position like you, like where you have so much experience and like you can kind of just like help out the next generation. That is like, that is amazing, man. That is fucking amazing, man.
I don't buy that. Well, thank you for saying that, though.
Of course.
I appreciate it. So, Derrick, so before beginning the conversation, I have a lot of questions for you.
Dude.
But this is for general public. It doesn't matter, like students, graduate students, or junior devs, senior devs, or even entrepreneurs like myself.
Right.
They are trying to come into this field of autonomy and robotics in general. Yeah. They struggle like hell, right?
Dude.
Would you introduce yourself to this public general audience?
I got you, my man. So, hey, everyone, my name is Derrick. I just recently got my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And, you know, during my time there, I was just like, as soon as I took a controls course, I was like, hey, this career path is so cool. This is what I want to do as a career. And, you know, since then, I've been trying to find ways to pivot. And I actually stumbled upon Elliot's channel. I was like, dude, this guy is like a gem. So much material is on this guy's YouTube channel and no one sees it. So when I saw his channel, it had like, you know, 10K subscribers. I'm like, this guy deserves way more. So next, you know, I enrolled in this guy's class, you know, Robotics 101. And ever since then, I've really just been implementing more and more projects because that course kind of served as like a baseline, really just like a high level overview of all the different material concepts that especially I learned. So I got my career as a GNC engineer. So a lot of control theory, a lot of building simulations and all that, which what I've learned in Elliot's course kind of helped me get through that process. But I will say, first of all, Elliot, I think I got so lucky getting into like this company because it was only one interview and I had no referral.
Sure? You're not making up.
I am not BSing right now. It was one interview, but I think the biggest thing was it was like a L1 or like an entry level. So it kind of made sense. It was like some technical questions, but we can cover that in a little bit. But that's just kind of like a high level overview of where I'm at right now.
So for the audience, what is GNC stands for?
Yeah, so GNC stands for Guidance, Navigation, and Control. So G stands for guidance, which is, you know, where you are, where you want to go. Navigation is how am I going to get there? And control is what control effort, what I have to do with my motors in order to get that actuation, get to where I want to.
So what really made you, I don't know, be interested in this kind of field? Like what is it for you?
Yeah, so this is actually a talk I had with Elliot during our first coffee chat. So I knew that I wanted to do something with robotics and, you know, trying to get into robotics with an undergrad degree, especially mechanical engineering, it would be hard to kind of narrow in like one specific industry, especially where I am. So I kind of just expanded my scope to any industry. So instead of robotics, for a commercial application, I looked into SWE roles just to get my foot in the door because I knew that if I was able to get transferable skills, that being in GNC engineering, I would be able to later pivot onto robotics, whether that be through projects or proof of concept. That was kind of like my thought process with that.
That's great. So Derrick, before starting all these, I remember it was like about I don't know, like half a year ago and a year ago. Yeah. So you were, I don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong, if my memory may be wrong. So you were kind of ambiguous and kind of struggling to figure out your career path and so on.
Big time.
Could you share a little bit more about that? How did you feel about that back in the moment without knowing all these?
So first of all, it's scary. I'm not allowed to curse.
No, it's okay. I mean, you can do whatever.
I'll say, like, big time, like, especially as, an undergrad where you're promised by maybe society, like, hey, you go to school, get an engineering degree, you're going to get a job automatically. Right. That is by far not the case. That is not the case at all. And, I started to realize that towards the end of my senior year. That's why I started looking online, like, hey, what do I need to do? What projects I need to do? Reach out to people. And that's how I stumbled across Elliot. But the biggest thing was fear of not being able to get a job and seeing other people, especially getting jobs. And you're just saying that, man, I wish I was there. So that kind of gave me that drive to really try to set myself up for success after graduation. And, I didn't get a job after graduation, didn't get a job even after 6 months. And I knew that if I dedicated my time to learning all these materials, concepts, especially the ones taught in Elliot's courses, I knew that eventually someone will give me a shot because especially for these entry-level roles, they're looking for someone who's coachable. Looking for someone who's coachable, can pick up things, and essentially like show them that you have energy and are willing to put in the work. And I think that's something that really like allowed me to stand out, especially like, I had no internships and they still like gave me an offer.
I totally agree with you because after the first conversation with you, what I felt is that, well, this guy is actually listening to me. He's like actually asking me like, what is the column filter and all these kind of technical details I mentioned in the YouTube video, and he's actually asking that more about that.
Taking notes too. Taking notes. I got my taking notes too from people who are more experienced. That's the biggest thing.
Yes, I really admire this. You said you went through just one interview, but did you have to submit like multiple applications at least to multiple companies?
Elliot, I submitted over like 200, 300 applications. It was nuts, bro. But keep in mind, this is like any industry, not one specific industry. But as soon as I got the interview for a GNC role, I was like, dude, this is like, regardless of the company, it was like the dream title alongside robotics engineer. I was like, dude, this is like, I gotta lock in for this, man.
So I remember you were going to grad school or not, and did you have to graduate or you're just getting a job? Like, I may ask what's going on.
Yeah, so I just finished my undergrad in mechanical engineering, but I'm actually wanted to come today and ask you about like, grad school, because I'm actually thinking of applying to grad school this fall. So that way, because I also have like the employer's gonna help me out. So I was like, okay, I'm not paying for it out of pocket. Good to go, man.
Oh, wow. That's really cool, man. But people are always like focused on like technical stuff like Rust 2 and so on and so on. But based on my personal experience, I never got the questions like, can you define, say, a rotation matrix? Can you write a new Rust packages? I'm like, I never asked those questions. That's why I made this course. It's more, I mean, there are tutorials, but it's more about like the scientific ideas and so on. How was your interview? Do you agree with me or how do you feel?
Yeah. So regarding the technical details, they did not explicitly ask like, hey, do you know how to use Rust 2? More so, it was implied. Exactly. So I had a load of projects, right? Instead of asking that directly, they asked, okay, how did you go about this project? How did you do this? How did you implement a DCM? How did you do that? So it wasn't directly asked, but it was implied. So instead of listing out, so I use Rust, I use C++, you kind of just like massage it into like the question. Right. It was never like something directly asked. I mean, I had one question, like, okay, little sidetrack, but they asked me, so have you ever worked with Kalman filters and neural networks? And I was like, aside from Kalman filter, I have no idea what you just said. So right. Being transparent about what you don't know is important too. So I will little side tangent on that, but I will say that.
But at least you knew common filter, which is good.
I did. I was like, dude, Elliot, if I didn't take this course, I would have been cooked, bro.
I also personally believe if it's a good interview question, it's not really like an interview. It's more like a very fun conversation with your colleagues, right?
So my interviewer was like, okay, I'm gonna start off the bat, ask some, required questions or usual questions I ask every candidate, that being STAR questions. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's kind of just like behavioral questions, like tell me at a time that you did this, tell me a time where you had a conflict and how'd you resolve it, those type of questions. And then afterwards, they moved towards my resume. And that's where they kind of like started digging into like the little nitty gritty details. And then ended off with questions. And then that's kind of where I asked your question, or the question about like, my project, how can I improve it? And what they did, it was more like a conversation, because I saw them like, I saw them do this. So this is body language. I don't know about you, but this is body language. During the STAR questions, they're just like, oh, stiff, right? As soon as I asked that question, we had a discussion. It started leaning back, bro. Like arms up and everything. I was like, okay, that's psychology, man. But that was kind of how the interview was structured.
That's cool.
I think it's really important too to treat them like, they're like another person. That's the biggest thing. Like, especially like with candidates, what I've noticed with my friends, they try to treat like the interview like some holy god. Right. But in reality, there's just like another person.
And I'm pretty sure they must have enjoyed the conversation with you.
Oh,
that's why they hired you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. Like,
because they see the potential colleague there through the screen. I have no doubt why they wanted to hire you, because you have such a positive energy and vibe, and I'd work with you.
Hey, I love you, brother. Hey, I love you. No homo though. I love you, brother. You're the man, Elliot.
I really do appreciate for saying that.
So if I never talked to you, Elliot, or take any of your courses, I wouldn't have known any of this. So that's kind of like your job.
A little bit of overstatement for me, I think, personally think.
It helps me. That's all I'll say. It helps me. But the biggest thing is for like new people is like taking action. Taking action on like the advice you receive.
Exactly.
The critique is the biggest thing. Number one thing, like without a doubt.
So other than like, say, this course and so on, other than that, like, what did you do? Like, did you have to build any robot, or did you do any side project, anything like that? Oh, cool. Sure.
So this was like an inspiration from your quadcopter drone project. I literally bought the parts for a quadcopter.
Holy shit. Okay.
I got my own Pixhawk. Like, I knew this was a project because in your Robotics 101 class, it was like a simulation, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I got to build this thing in person, validate it. That way I would be able to show employers like, okay, hey, I simulated it. I built it with my hands. I'm not going to with my hands, showed proof of concept. And that's like kind of the action you really need to take it to the next level.
And that was really helpful for your interview?
Dude, yeah, of course, Elliot. I mean, I will say like, yeah, most of the stuff that I was taught in the course was like at like a base level, which it's 101, right? It's 101. But if you want to take it to the next level, you have the foundation provided by your course, right? You look into those specific concepts, look into stuff. Okay, what I need to buy, what I need to learn, boom, build it. Fail, pass, whatever. You got to like keep on pushing, man?
I'm still proud of you, man. So
of course,
nowadays people are really frustrated about the job markets in general, right?
Right.
But you are kind of opposite example, right? So what did you share? It doesn't have to be students, but like anyone, like junior devs, senior devs, even like people like me, entrepreneurs. What is your kind of impression about the field of robotics and autonomy?
I think I think especially because it's so new, with like robotics is just so new. It's like all hyped up. The expectations as a result are way higher, especially if someone wants to get hired. Right. Like, when I was doing my job search, right, I was looking at robotics. I'm like, okay, they want a master's, they want a PhD. I'm like, dude, okay. So I'm thinking, what if I get my PhD or master's? What's it going to look like in 4 years? And next thing you know, it's just even more like requirements that add on. And I'm like, okay, if I don't like get my foot in the door at least and like try to gain some clarity, it's only going to get tougher from here on out. So I think being able to take that first step, find out what industry and niche you want to get into, that's the biggest thing. And being able to reach out to people who know about that industry, learn about it, and actually build something that way, when you go into the industry, you're able to talk about it. And essentially, like, you have to sell yourself. That's the biggest thing. You got to learn how you sell yourself, no matter what the market is. Selling yourself with your skills, that is like the biggest thing I've noticed, especially as like a new grad.
So nowadays, like this humanoid robot is really booming. It's really hot.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of junior devs and then the students like yourself may be really attracted by this thing and they might want to just do humanoid. But you might have also considered that. But why did you not following this popular trend? Like, what was the sort of algorithm behind your decision-making process?
Got it. So I will say I'm guilty. So my senior capstone project, I actually did like make like a robot hand. I didn't make a full humanoid though. It was just like a robot hand that could like, you know, flex, extend, copy the hand gestures. But, you know, I think it ties back to like what I said before. It's really just trying to get my foot in the door. So I literally, Elliot, I applied to any company. Like, hell, I would be a dishwasher. I would do anything to get into a company that at least does robotics. That way, if they offer, I'm sure they offer like some horizontal like movement. So you get in the company, I'm like, okay, work there 9 months to a year. And then that's like, hey, I've always been interested in robotics. Can I move on to another team or can I help you guys with this project? And that was kind of my game plan on trying to like get my foot in the door and like, you know, taking on those assignments. So that was like my kind of game plan for doing that.
So technically, how long did it take? Like after your graduation until you got the job, how long did it take? Half a year?
Half a year. Okay, or a little over half a year. So I got the offer like right before Christmas.
Oh, wow, really? That's such a Christmas gift, man.
I know, man. I was so happy, man.
I'm not sure if I told you this. When I got your message, that was about I mean, nowadays I have been kind of doubting myself if I keep selling the courses, it would be really helpful for people because it's the era of LLMs and people are not really getting my point. I feel like I'm isolated and so on. And then you sent me that message and I was like crying myself. Dude. And then my wife is like, what's going on?
Oh my God, brother. Dude, I was crying too, man. I was crying when I got the offer, I was crying. I know. I love my boys. Everyone who's like helping me, I'm so happy, man.
Oh man, you're so much inspiring so many people.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Of course, man. I'm glad you feel that way too, man. That's why I got reached out to my man.
Do you have any other like general advice or any thinking and feeling towards this general public?
Yeah. So biggest takeaway, if you could get anything from this, the biggest takeaway is to take action. Taking action based on what you know and leveraging that. Being able to leverage that is the biggest thing because nothing you do will be seen if you don't leverage it and show it to like your employers or hiring managers. None of that will matter if you don't show you made action. Being able to act upon the information you're given and being hungry to learn more. That's the two biggest things I could really just say. And I think if you're willing to put in the time, dedication, and be consistent, right? This isn't like a sprint. Like you can't learn all this in 2 days. Like you gotta put in the time for months on end, constantly like hitting hammer on the fire, like constantly like, putting in the work every single day, even if it's little, and making progress towards your goals. You will eventually get there no matter what.
Sure.
That is what I believe.
Awesome. That's really, really insightful talk. And that's really inspiring. I also learned a lot from you, your energy and your vibe and your perspectives. All that is really attractive. I really admire you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
With you. Have a great trip. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, brother. All right, Elliot. You take care, my man. Take care.
See you.
Bye-bye.